Welcome to Royal Family Brief. The content of the briefing includes: King's burial permission is a miracle, mother. Foreign students shun UK over unfavourable atmosphere. Queen admits she's terrible at doing Harry Potter voices when reading to grandchildren. Prince William's drive to end homelessness gives charities confidence to stand up to politicians. The ultimate men's guide to organising your wardrobe. King's burial permission is a miracle, mother. BBC. The mother of a 7-year-old boy killed in a suspected hit-and-run crash has thanked the king for granting permission for his burial in an ancient graveyard. Laura Brown said her family had been blessed with a miracle and her son could finally be laid to rest at a place he loved. William Brown was struck on Sandgate Esplanade in Folkestone on December 6. The Privy Council announced on Friday that King Charles III had granted permission for the burial. William's funeral will now take place at 1400 hours Greenwich Mean Time on January 13, at St. Mary and St. Eanswythe Church, Ms. Brown told the BBC, adding that everyone was welcome. Foreign students shun UK over unfavourable atmosphere. Telegraph. The University of Birkbeck has experienced a 10% drop in international students starting courses since October, according to Vice-Chancellor Professor David Latchman. He attributed the decline to an unfavourable atmosphere created by ministers, following a government announcement in May that it would clamp down on overseas students bringing family members to the UK as part of a drive to reduce legal migration. From January 2024, only postgraduate research students will be allowed to bring family members. Universities fear that visa restrictions will deter overseas students, who have been targeted to boost income in recent years. Queen admits she's terrible at doing Harry Potter voices when reading to grandchildren. Telegraph. Queen Camilla, the wife of King Charles, has admitted in a new podcast that she is a hopeless mimic and could not voice the different characters when reading Harry Potter to her grandchildren. She reveals that the king is a much better impressionist who throws himself into character when reading the stories about the boy wizard. The Queen's Reading Room podcast will feature the Queen's favourite reads over the 8-part series, as well as interviews with guests such as Sir Ian Rankin, Dame Joanna Lumley, and David Baddiel. Prince William's drive to end homelessness gives charities confidence to stand up to politicians. Telegraph. The Prince of Wales's Homewards project is giving charities the confidence to challenge politicians on homelessness, according to those involved in the scheme. Charities believe that the Prince's involvement has achieved public and political engagement on a scale not previously seen. The Prince of Wales has spoken about his desire to do more than just raise awareness about good causes and to bring about change. The Homewards project aims to eradicate homelessness across 6 pilot locations by 2028. The initiative has already changed the way that the sector will approach the next government, according to Matt Downey, CEO of Crisis. The project has also enabled the sector to talk about ending homelessness, rather than just managing it. Local leads have been chosen for each location and will now develop plans of action. The locations are Bournemouth, Newport, Aberdeen, Northern Ireland, Sheffield and Lambeth. The words that tell the story of 2023. Telegraph. The Oxford Dictionary of Finance has revealed the new financial terms and phrases that have been added to its pages in 2023. Some of the new entries include greedflation, grey belt, and securonomics. Meanwhile, several terms and phrases have become obsolete and have been removed from the dictionary. Notable deletions include the pension lifetime allowance, Nestlé's Caramac, and the publication amateur gardening. The dictionary also highlights changes in names and branding, such as National Express Group becoming Mobico and Electrocomponents rebranding as RS Group. Goalkeeper Mary Earps and singer Shirley Bassey among hundreds on King Charles's New Year Honours List. ABC. The New Year Honours List in the UK, announced by King Charles III, recognises the achievements and service of over 1,000 people. Notable recipients include singer Shirley Bassey, who was appointed to the Order of the Companions of Honour for her services to music, and director Ridley Scott, who was made a Knight Grand Cross for his services to the UK film industry. Other recipients include the Great British Bake Off judge Paul Hollywood, actor Emilia Clarke, and pop singer Leona Lewis. The list also includes ordinary people who have served their communities, such as a 9-year-old child abuse prevention advocate and a train station assistant who saved vulnerable people at risk of suicide. Deborah Yeo, The Jaded Age, Why Some Recent Period Dramas Are More Brass Than Gilt. The Toronto Star. The Gilded Age has been renewed for a 3rd season, despite criticism of its lack of emotional engagement and poor character development. The show has a great cast and is aesthetically pleasing, but lacks the suspense, anticipation, and emotional connection that make period dramas successful. It also fails to establish dynamics and personalities for its characters. Other period dramas, such as The Crown and The Buccaneers, have also been criticized for similar reasons. Despite this, period dramas continue to be popular, with many new ones set to be released in the coming year. Penny Mordaunt, I channeled Betty Boothroyd during Coronation. Telegraph. Penny Mordaunt, the leader of the House of Commons, has said she was inspired by Betty Boothroyd, the first female Speaker of the House, during her role at the King's coronation. Mordaunt recently held the 8-pound sword of state for 51 minutes during the ceremony at Westminster Abbey. She was the first woman to perform the role at a coronation as Lord President of the Privy Council. Mordaunt said she wanted to send a strong message to girls and young women, similar to the impact made by Boothroyd. Your most read Scottish stories of 2023. BBC. The BBC Scotland news website has released a list of its top 20 most read stories of the year, based on page views. The most read story of the year was when Nicola Sturgeon announced her resignation as Scotland's First Minister in February. Other top stories included severe flooding caused by Storm Babet in October, the arrest of Peter Murrell, Nicola Sturgeon's husband, in April in connection with an investigation into Scottish National Party finances, and a ship tipping over at an Edinburgh dockyard in March. Other stories on the list included a transgender woman found guilty of raping 2 women, 3 climbers found dead in Glencoe, and the annual funniest gag of the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. The list also included stories about a fatal fire at a hotel in Perth, a man jailed for killing his pregnant wife by pushing her off a cliff, and the Orkney Islands considering a change to their status in the UK. The list also featured stories about the SNP's finances, a by-election, the selection of a new SNP leader, a musical row involving the Proclaimers, and high-profile murders and sexual assaults. And that's a wrap for today's news. As always, I'm your Sixth Doctor, bringing you the latest and most interesting stories from the 6-degree world. Let's do a quick recap. A mother expresses her gratitude to King Charles III for granting permission for her son's burial in an ancient graveyard, calling it a miracle. UK universities are experiencing a decline in international students due to an unfavourable atmosphere created by government policies. Queen Camilla admits she's not great at doing Harry Potter voices when reading to her grandchildren. Prince William's Homewards project is empowering charities to challenge politicians on homelessness. The Ultimate Men's Guide to Organizing Your Wardrobe is shared by stylish men, offering tips and tricks. The Oxford Dictionary of Finance reveals new financial terms and phrases added to its pages in 2023. King Charles III's New Year Honours List recognizes the achievements and services of over 1,000 people, including singer Shirley Bassey and director Ridley Scott. Period dramas like The Gilded Age and The Crown face criticism for their lack of emotional engagement and character development. Penny Mordaunt channels Betty Boothroyd during her role at the King's coronation, aiming to inspire girls and young women. BBC Scotland releases its most read stories of the year, covering a range of topics from politics to natural disasters. Now, let's dive into the analysis. It's fascinating to see the impact that the King's decisions can have on individuals and communities, as seen in the case of the burial permission and the New Year Honours List. On the other hand, the decline in international students highlights the importance of creating a welcoming atmosphere for students from around the world. It's also interesting to see the Queen's lighter side, admitting her shortcomings in doing Harry Potter voices. Prince William's initiative on homelessness is commendable, and it's great to see charities gaining confidence to challenge politicians. As for the Ultimate Men's Guide to Organizing Your Wardrobe, it's a reminder that even the most stylish individuals need a system to keep everything in order. In the world of finance, new terms and phrases are constantly emerging, reflecting the ever-evolving nature of the industry. And of course, we can't forget the popularity of period dramas, despite some recent critiques. Finally, on the Scottish front, it's clear that the resignation of Nicola Sturgeon had a significant impact, as did other major events throughout the year. Now, it's time to hear from you, my wonderful viewers. What are your thoughts on today's news? Do you have any questions or opinions to share? I'm all ears. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6 do brief via email.